Good morning, good morning. My name is Fred Kobrick and I'm your trolley conductor this morning. I've been with the museum since about 2017. I'm a retired hospital administrator and was looking for a new volunteer activity, and this became my volunteer activity. So I'll be your trolley conductor today, and Mr. John Marshall is going to be your narrator today. But before he starts, I want to tell you a little bit about this trolley. This trolley is a 1924 Brill trolley. It is a gas-powered trolley. It's powered with propane, and it currently has a Chevrolet 454 crate engine in it. And it's backed up by a Caterpillar road grader transmission. So this trolley has always been gas-powered. Originally it had a diesel engine in it. And when we restored it back in the late 1990s for our use, we put the Chevrolet crate engine in it. Probably the most interesting thing about this trolley is that it operated in continuous revenue service from 1924 to 1986 in Pennsylvania. And so it did not have a break in service during that entire period of time, which really just amazes me that this trolley operated for this many years. And the configuration that it's in right now today is from 1934. And so we restored it back to that configuration. All the woodwork in here, the seats, are all original to the trolley. Of course, they've been reupholstered. It has new flooring and stuff. But beyond that, this is the way the trolley operated from 1934 to 1986. So pretty fantastic. And it's 24 years old since it's been restored. We've been operating it here in El Reno for 24 years. And so one more year we'll have our 25th anniversary. So. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Marshall, and we're going to let him do the narration for today.
So it's really good to have y'all on the trolley today. I hope it isn't too hot for you. I haven't done this too many times, so you'll have to bear with me. I miss a lot of the stuff we're going by. Over here on the left, you're going to see some of the buildings on the museum complex grounds. We've got an old school here, and off to the left, further down there, you see an old log cabin looking thing. People in the back may not be able to see it. But that was a cantina for people coming through on the train back in World War II and World War I. And they had ladies in there, volunteers, kind of like what we do, serving coffee, hot chocolate, trying to take care of our servicemen. Fred gets out here and works his tail off and keeping this yard real clean, looking nice. And he was reluctant to say it, but he's the guy that runs this thing. He's in charge of it. He knows the trolley. He understands the workings of it. And occasionally lets me drive it. A year later, in 1908, they did a 75 by 125 foot addition that was going through right now. It was increased because they were so busy. It became headquarters for the interurban, which is what this trolley is the legacy of. It was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1978, and recently went through a conversion and an update. Look off the left and wave. That's Vicki Proctor walking across the parking lot. She's the lady that keeps this whole thing alive. She's you can say the tip of the spear of the museum. She keeps everything running, keeps the finances in order, does everything needed. so you can enjoy this trolley ride today. Up ahead of us is the Rock Island Division headquarters. It was built in maybe on the next page. Anyhow, it was like the headquarters for the Rock Island for this part of the country. It had the most advanced telegraph system in the world at that time. You'll notice every corner Fred comes to, he's going to ding the gong a couple of times. And, if there's any aggressive drivers out there, he'll usually honk the horn. Thing used to go like 50 or 60 miles an hour, and you'd see the scarf flying back behind him. So it's got quite the heritage. It's the name of the trolley. Up here on the right, you're going to see the golf house. It was constructed in 1900 to 1901 for W.I. Golf and his family. Originally, the two-story house had 15 rooms. It was restored back to its original condition in the 1990s. It's considered a Queen Anne and colonial revival combination architecture style. It was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1988. The Gulf family owned the Anheuser-Busch brewery here, which was quite an essential part of the town with its many bars and saloons they had. He kept them all supplied with beer and did quite well with it. We just passed it over here as a house that's all unpainted. That was the house of the architect who designed the school down here. He also designed the state capitol. The original west half of the school building here coming up was built in 1911. It was the first school around here to have a stage and an auditorium. Students moved into the basement in 1912. The original plans for the building included a swimming pool. $214,000 lawn voted in 1955. Drain here, this sewage drain, that's the separation between the old and the new buildings. They did another bond after that for $100,000 in 1925, which was used to finish the construction from here to the end here. The school has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places in March 2000. Looks like you're getting a new plaza here. Last summer, the movie Twister was filmed here. Not all of it, but part of it. Yeah. In the movie, this trolley was a prominent thing. Del Reno up here on the left is one of our famous onion fried burger joints. I used to go to this one when I was a kid. I remember burgers being 15 cents a piece. My grandfather had the Chevrolet dealership that was right over here. He'd give me $1 and I'd go over there and fill up on fried onion burgers and Cokes and french fries. We're crossing a state highway here, so we have to honk. You'll hear them honk the horn or the whistle. Trolley has a right of way in all instances, except we have to stop at the state highways and stoplights and obey that law. Right, the intersection on the northeast corner is the Anheuser-Busch building. We passed the golf house. This was, I guess, where they brewed the beer. I used to come here as a child, go in and watch a movie, get popcorn, some soft drinks. Never free title. It was owned by the Slocum family and continued to operate the theater until 1995. Today, the city of El Reno owns the theater, and almost every weekend it hosts a live theater, music, or some kind of vintage movie. We're passing the old First National Bank building, which is now our school headquarters for El Reno Public Schools. Interesting fact about that building is 1930, a teacher went into a bank during his lunch hour. The robbery was in progress, and the teacher was shot and killed by the robber as he entered the bank. The robber was wounded and apprehended and subsequently found guilty of murder, sentenced to death in the electric chair. Are you kids listening to all this? I'll be a test.
Yeah, their eyes are like this.
It goes, I'm a teacher, it goes in one ear and out the other.
Sometimes.
Sometimes a little of it's
Yeah.
dark brown building in here. I can't see it very well. It's the old post office building. It was built in 1915. All people served mail service. plaza was erected by the Canadian County citizens to honor the memory of the 206 men from the county who gave their lives in 4 great wars of the 20th century. The plaza was dedicated July 4th, 2000. It was, all the murals were painted by a local citizen called Charles Beecham. Very, very liked and known citizen around town, also a veteran. As we pass it, you're going to see a mural that depicts the evolution of the interurban trolley service in El Reno. El Reno boasted the only trolley turntable in central Oklahoma. So all the other trolleys around the state, if they wanted to turn their trolley around, they had to make a trip to El Reno to go onto the turntable and turn the trolley. The mural was painted by students